Hello, dear friend. Before we start this webinar, I want to ask you a genuine question that comes from a place of love and care. How are you doing? This is not just a courtesy question. I genuinely am interested in how you are because this time, nobody ever thought that we would be in this time. There's so much uncertainty. There's so much of unsettling feelings in this whole universe. Things are completely crazy. Things are getting from bad to worse, it seems, if you follow the news and social media posts. And you must be just wondering, like, how do I do what I do and how do I function in my life? Because on a personal level, this whole pandemic is very numbing, very unstable and very unsettling, unless you have the answers. And that's why, we're on the webinar as to find out how we can, navigate this. But a couple of questions that could be running through your mind right now are, why? Why did this happen to me? Especially if your life has been moving on a trajectory on the upswing, you would be feeling very, sort of vindicated right now. You could be feeling that the universe has played a cruel game on you. I was doing well and why did this have to happen? The other thing is like, now what do I do? Now this has happened, so now what do I do? I mean, do you have the tools? Have you equipped yourself with the tools to know now what do I do? And then you're going to be asking yourself, how did this happen and how do I get through this? So how did this happen and how do I get through this? And the last one is going to be, where do I go from here? Now, we're going to be addressing all these questions in the webinar as we go through this webinar. So let's start with, why did this happen? Well, nobody really knows why this happened. It happened, okay? We all have conspiracy theories floating out there. We all have scientific evidence that, this happened and that happened and this plus this is equal to this. But, I'm not a scientist and I'm not a conspiracy theorist. So I believe that what you put out in the universe, whether you believe in it or not, we're all energy. So what you put out in the universe comes back to you. And I honestly think that this was something that was waiting to happen because of various reasons, which I can do another separate webinar on. But why did this happen? Because it's a chain reaction, according to me. Energetically, it's a chain reaction. We have created so many, unnatural things in this universe that, other organisms have had to kind of adapt. We have done so many things which are not in congruence with the laws of nature. And so all this carries a heavy price and it can manifest as anything. We don't know how the universe is going to manifest things, in physical form. We can't question the universe because the universe is divine intelligence. So why this happened to us? I think because partly it was a creation of our own doing. And no one's placing any blame here, please. We're just being factual about things from an energetic point of view and from actually a common sense point of view, okay? Now, how did this happen to me? Let's not take these things personally. It's happened not only to you and me, it's happened to the other 7 billion people on the planet, not to mention every other sentient being or living being on this planet. So it's, how did this happen? It's just an extension of the question, why did this happen? But if you ask an intelligent question saying, how do I get through this? I may have a few more answers for you. How can you get through this? You can get through this by being absolutely firm in your perspective. What is your perspective? You can either look at this coronavirus pandemic from a place of helplessness, from a reactionary place, or you can look at it from a place of empowerment and a response place. You can either react through helplessness or you can respond with empowerment. How do I get through this? We're going to be mapping out those steps as we go through this webinar. Where do I go from here? This is very interesting. Where do I go from here? Well, if you join the course that I'm offering at an extremely nominal rate after the webinar, there's tons of value in this webinar and you can choose to go and do this on your own, or you can join my course which I'm launching in the next 1 week. Coming back to this, where do I go from here? You need to actually map out a plan as to where you're going in terms of all the areas of your life. This is the time to uplift yourself. This is the time to focus inwards. In any case, hashtag social distancing, hashtag lockdown, hashtag don't go out, stay at home, whatever the hashtags are, they're all relevant, right? We don't want to be irresponsible and expose ourselves unnecessarily to the virus, because the virus doesn't discriminate against anybody. We're all susceptible to catch it. Having said that, you have to take responsibility for your life. This is up-leveling your life, right? Up-level life in lockdown. This is where you can make a plan as to, I'm going to work on myself. And when I work on myself, I know where I'm going to go because I have a clear-cut path. So once you make that decision, then the how, the when, the why, all these questions, automatically get filled in. All these fill in the blanks get filled in. You have to focus on the 6 areas of your life right now. What are those 6 areas? The mental, the physical, the emotional, your relationships, your career, and your energetic balance of the entire being. Okay? Focus on these 6 parts of your life, because everything is relevant. It takes all sorts of causes and conditions for a fruit to ripen, for it to even taste sweet, for it to smell nice, for it to actually be ripe for the picking. If the fruit just looks good and it's waxed and polished, but it tastes really bad, you're not going to buy it, right? So if one area of your life is off, then obviously all the other areas are going to be infected. It's like if you put an infected apple in a bowl with beautiful, fresh, juicy, lovely apples, invariably they're all going to be infected, because you see, energy passes from one thing to another. Energy flows where energy goes, and energy is contagious. So if you think that this virus is contagious, I'm here to tell you that your energy is even more contagious. Now you have a choice. Either your energy can be contagious in a positive way, from a place of empowerment, or either it can be from a negative way, from a place of helplessness. You gotta choose what you want to do with your energy, okay? So let's dive into the next part of this webinar. Now, like I said, now we're going to dive into the personal impact of this crisis. You see, when your emotional state is uncertain, you're constantly clamoring for something to stabilize you. You're constantly looking to cling on to for some support. It's like you're at sea and you're looking for some kind of a rudder. You're looking for something to hang on to. And unfortunately, we always look to outside resources for this comfort, stability, and reassurance. But right now, can you do that? Can you look towards the outside? Because when you look towards the outside, you're going to be even more confused, because number one, the media. And this is not the best strategy to follow. If you're following the media, I really urge you to follow it with a huge bag of salt, because the media is always going to be biased by something or the other. The media is always going to be colored by bias of one kind or another. And then, of course, at the rate that data is coming in every minute, and you're being pinged on social media, or you're getting news updates on your phone to your favorite, news network, and this is being broadcasted simultaneously across all the news channels in every single country and continent of this beautiful universe, then obviously all this doubt and contradiction is going to basically add to this consciousness of dead energy and negative energy. And so everybody is feeling tense, everybody is feeling nuts, everybody doesn't know what to do, everybody is looking for something to hold on to. The second thing is your friends, your family, your spouse. Now, I know you hold these people dear, and I do too, my own family and friends. However, again, you have to be very circumspect, because it's a similar thing like the media. Just because someone is related to you by blood and because you respect them doesn't mean they have all the answers. Because you're talking about a pandemic that is constantly changing. And now when you have differences of opinion with people, either you listen to them and you get freaked out, or when you have differences of opinion, it could lead to arguments, uneasiness, and then you're living in the same confined space. So again, this whole consciousness, this collective consciousness of dead energy continues and continues and continues. Now, what is the solution to this? Thanks, Avril, for telling me about this, but what can I do about it? You can step up and be a leader. This is the only thing that you can do, because like I said, You are responsible to yourself. You can set an example for your friends, your family, your children, your employees, your co-workers, and even, the little lane that you live in, or the big road that you live down, your own community. You can be a leader. You can open a WhatsApp group and start posting empowered things, because it takes only one person. It takes only one person. I keep stressing the power of one, the power of now, the power of one, the power of change, the power of now. I'm going to keep repeating myself. Because if you look back to a time when you felt this vulnerable or insecure, can you think back to a time when you felt this vulnerable and insecure? I can think back in 2008 when 26/11 happened. I live in India. And I'm sure a lot of you out there also live in India. But if you were in the US, 9/11, if you were in a different part of the world, there has to have been a crisis where it shook the foundations of your country. And what happened at that time, and how did you step it up? Did you act from a place of empowerment? Did you act from a place of, inner wellness, from a place of your higher self? And if you did, then now is the time to implement that strategy. Now is the time for you to step it up. Now is the time to dig deep right into the core of you, to consult with your higher consciousness, and to put your hand on your heart and touch yourself and touch your body and open up your magnetic field and say, I handled this so well when this happened to me last. This is not the first time I'm in a crisis. I handled it so well, and now I'm going to ask you, my higher self, to please come to my aid and to help me to take an empowered view of this, to block out everything that's around me and everyone and all this, all this white noise and all this pandemonium and all this talking, block it all out. Help me to find my inner voice. Help me to find you, my inner higher being, and guide me every day. This is the time I need to trust myself. I need to work on myself. I need to trust my higher guidance. And I surrender to my higher guidance. I surrender to you, my consciousness, my higher self. I surrender to you, and I love you. And I ask you to please show me the right path for me, because I am unique and this is my path. So I hope that you did that with me. And now we're moving on into the next part of this webinar. So I hope that you did that to me. I hope that you, felt that energy shift. So let's talk about the other scenario. However, if you acted irrationally during that time when you were in crisis, if you acted irrationally, then you got to look back and think, what is the price that you paid? Because whenever you act irrationally and whenever you act from a place of reaction, when you react irrationally, then there's always some price to pay. And the price to pay can be, instant, or it can have repercussions later. I remember I was in Mumbai in 2008 when the terrorists attacked the Taj and, the station, and, then began firing at the Jewish house. And there was so much pandemonium. People didn't know what was happening. People were just dying like flies. They were being just shot randomly. And it was so chaotic, and so many people lost their loved ones. They lost their own lives. There was such a sense of loss and destruction and just negative energy. And I remember that the police were outstanding, and everybody came together. But the thing that really stood out for me was the ordinary man was the hero that saved the day. The ordinary man came forward in all his glory and really stepped up, and he showed that he could be the hero in his own life, because you are the hero of your own life. It was ordinary people who helped people without expecting anything in return. They were heroes for that day. They did not seek validation of any kind. I don't even think that these people who were heroes even met the victims or people who were suffering or the relatives of victims after that. But they still did it because of humanity, and they led by the example of going into that war zone, risking their life, but because of the conviction, they helped people. Now you can be the hero of your own life, and this contagion is a contagion that other people can catch, because an empowered attitude is contagious. Let me repeat that. Being the hero of your own life, as a very famous entrepreneur, Mrs. Billy Yu says, and I've taken this from her, being the hero of your own life simply means that you are responsible to yourself, and you're not really making excuses and looking for ways out and looking for other people's advice and wisdom, because nothing really distinguishes you in terms of your infinite potential from, say, a Bill Gates or a Beyonce or a Shah Rukh Khan or anybody else, or the Prime Minister or President of your country. Nothing distinguishes you from them in terms of your full potential. Now, either you can work with your full potential, or you can choose to just be lazy and to just ignore your full potential. And most of us choose the latter, because we don't want to do the work. We don't want to feel, to think, to deep dive. We don't want to do the work. It's like, a woman getting pregnant and then expecting to conceive like that. Is that going to happen? No. It takes 9 months for that fetus to grow and grow, for the embryo to grow into a fetus, and for the fetus to grow into a healthy baby. So if you're expecting some easy, sure shot way during this time, then this is not the place for you. And I'm very open about this. I don't mince my words, because I'm not here to mollycoddle you. I'm here to offer you my empathetic and sympathetic support, but I'm not here to kind of, whine along with you and find excuses, because then how empowered am I then? And if I'm a victim, how can I help you? I've decided to be the hero of my own life, to lift myself up. And because I'm the hero of my own life, I'm infecting people with this contagion, like my Kundalini yoga students, like you on this webinar, like my private therapy clients, including my own mother, including people who I'm on, WhatsApp groups with, or social media groups with, or in my Facebook groups. I want to infect people with the contagion of empowerment. The contagion of empowerment and being the hero of your own life is far more powerful than the coronavirus. And you'd better remember this, because this virus is going to leave us. But if you are not the hero of your own life, and people around you don't catch that contagion, then you have only yourself to blame. Because all we have is ourselves. And when we are empowered, when we are true to ourselves, then we can, empower other people. So we have to start with the 6 areas of our life now. And you will be getting PDFs and trackers and reminders and different kinds of so-called, help in terms of, you can either do it on your computer or you can download them, different kinds of aids to help you. But ultimately, you have to decide, do I want to be the hero of my own life or not? That's a decision that only you can take. And now we're going to take this further, and we're going to get into the next part of the webinar. So we've changed the energy around this entire pandemic now. We're feeling more joy in our hearts. So let's get into a conversation about this. We've all faced a crisis, but most of the crises we face are with actual people or actual situations. With regard to the pandemic, this is an invisible invader, but the feelings of helplessness, fear, and uncertainty are the same. Unfortunately, when we are fighting something that we can't see, something like a ghost, we don't know how to react. The levels of uncertainty and fear actually start to escalate. Now, with regards to events like 9/11 in India and 26/11 in the US, we could actually leave our houses and reach out to people that we cared about and loved for support. Unfortunately, now we are prisoners in our own homes. And this can be very devastating for most of us, because we are social creatures and we seek contact with our near and dear ones, because like they say, no man can live as an island. So how does a person like you and me cope with being cooped up inside? Because you're not going to find any solace outside your front door at this time. Most of the social media posts and news channels are offering a very terrifying view of what's happening, and maybe that's what it is. But this is the time you can shift your perception and look within. You can choose how to perceive this and how to respond to it instead of just reacting. We all have a hero within. We can all lead by example. And it's times like these which bring out the hero within. So, how can the quarantine build you up? How can you up level your life in lockdown? Maybe it's time to take that course. Maybe it's time to learn an instrument. Maybe it's time to get fit physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Maybe it's time to work on your relationship with your children or your parents or your spouse or your partner. Maybe it's time to really deep dive and decide what is it that I really want to do with my life by December 2020. This is the time to look within. Because the more you look outside where there are no answers to be found, the more uncertain and lost you will feel. Think of this, my dear friend, as an opportunity to progress. Because at the end of the day, your perception is all that matters. And we can perceive things from empowerment, or we can perceive things from helplessness. This is the time to rethink, re-strategize, reframe everything in your life. This is the time to dedicate to you. I'm not going to tell you that everything's going to be okay in so and so time because I don't know. I'm not one of those soothsayers who can tell you what, when, and how. But I do know this, that everything will be okay. And you've got to be prepared for that and come out a winner. Just as day follows night, just as spring follows winter, the universe is all about yin and yang, taking and receiving. What goes up must come down. We are all living in a state of impermanence, which means nothing is permanent of nature in the universe. So, my dear friend, the good news that I want to give you, and I'm sure that deep down you know this, that this pandemic will pass. However, waiting for it to pass can either empower you or leave you feeling helpless. Before this pandemic, you were probably waiting for the perfect conditions to do something, to start that yoga exercise class, to start a meditation practice, to plan your own business, to start online doing a blog. Did you actually get down to doing it? Most of you are going to say no. Because we always tell ourselves these stories because we think we have time, and we tell ourselves these stories and we give ourselves these really creative excuses. But right now, you have time. Right now, this is the only thing that you can do now. This is the best time for you to do anything that you have wanted to do before. There are no excuses. So let's do this exercise together. Let's, you and I, take the time element out of the equation. Because all you have these days is time. And I can see on social media, so many people are bored of giving themselves new hairstyles or manicures or pedicures or binge watching Netflix. So use your time more productively. Number one, you don't have to travel. There is no commuting time. And if you live in a place like India, you know that we spend at least 3 hours a day commuting to and from work. So you have 3 extra hours. Even if you use 90 minutes out of that, can you imagine the amount of progress you will make? The second way that you can save time is there are no breaks in the office, no lunch breaks, no coffee breaks, no toilet breaks, no chai breaks, no cigarette breaks. So again, if you actually put pen to paper and calculate, you'll notice that you have a lot of time there. You could be saving as much as even an hour. Number 3, and this is a big one, no social events, no office parties, no salsa classes, no karate classes, no driving the kids for their swimming lessons or jazz lessons or soccer practice. So you're saving time there. No social events to go through, no page 3 events to go through, to go to. So you're saving time there. Now that's one of the main excuses out of the window, time. Okay, we've got that nailed down now. So please don't say that you have no time, because it's foolish and it's very, very redundant. So what's the second thing that we can do now? Let's dive into that next. And now we come to the exciting part, the second element, the money element. Even though you have to be prudent in your spending right now, You're only basically spending money on groceries and essentials. You're actually saving so much money. Think about it. Number one, you're not socializing. Alcohol is very expensive. Eating out is very expensive, right? Ubers and Ola taxis are very expensive. So you're not socializing. Number two, you're not eating out, like I said. So you're saving money there because eating out is not cheap. Number three, this is a big one, no fuel expense. Number four, this is not a time where you're going to be making a big purchase like a house or a brand new luxury car, right? Number five, you're not going to malls where you're tempted to spend even if you don't want to spend or even if you don't have to spend on shopping for unnecessary stuff. Number six, you're not taking your kids for extracurricular activities which can be a pretty penny. So you're saving on that. So when you say that you don't have finances or money at the moment, I think you need to rethink about that. And these are only an obvious few that I just pulled out from the top of my head. Make a concrete list about your average monthly expenditure and then just put 15% aside towards your self-growth in the month of April and even May. The next 15% you can probably save. You still have another 70% in your bank account. Let's action these things, people. This webinar is about starting to take action. So let's action this. The most important and the best investment that you can make right now is you. You're not going to invest in stocks and bonds and shares right now. The market is in tatters, right? You're not. So what better dividend than taking a chance on you? This is the time you need to really dig deep. You need to look at the 6 areas of your life, and if you watch my previous series, you will be able to find that the 6 areas of your life. You need to dig deep, and I'm going to give you an acronym to dig deep. A, B, C, D. Awareness, belief, clarity, and decision. Let's take the first one, awareness. What are you aware of right now? In your personal life, in your career, with your relationships, with your self-growth, with your thinking, with your action. Number 2 is, what are your core beliefs right now? Because a belief is something that you keep on thinking. A belief is something that you learn or that society has handed down to you, especially in the way you grew up. But those beliefs, where once they are questioned, they lose their foundation. You start knocking off the 4 legs of the table slowly, and you realize that you have been holding yourself back with unnecessarily limiting beliefs. This is the time to question your beliefs. What are the main beliefs that have held you back so far? What are the beliefs that have got you ahead so far? Think about this. Dive deep. Remember, dive deep. What is your belief system? What is it based on? Is that basis solid? And what can you do to inculcate new beliefs? And I'm going to give you tips on that also a little bit later on in my courses. What does C stand for? Clarity. This is the time to get clear. You can't say that you're distracted right now because there's nothing much to be distracted by. And if you keep in mind whatever I've spoken to you about in this webinar, you'll realize that if you choose to be distracted by the media, by redundant social media posts, then that's your choice. You've made a choice to be distracted. But you can choose clarity and you can choose to get clear on your goals, your vision, your future, and how you're going to get there. You can break things down. What am I going to do today? What am I going to do this week? What am I going to do next week? You can break it up week by week, and I have PDFs and tracker sheets to help you do that. Once you sign up on my website, you're going to get all this for free to keep you accountable, to make things clearer for you. So, what are you going to get clear about in your life? Because when you get clear in your life, my dear friend, you and I can manifest whatever we desire. Remember, I run my company based on this principle. Align, attract, achieve. Aligning is all about being clear, being decisive. It's exactly what ABCD is about. Aligning. with awareness, with belief, with clarity, with decisiveness, aligning yourself, then you can attract whatever you want because you've done the groundwork. And once you attract what it is you desire, then achievement is like a piece of cake. Okay, so get clear, and I'm here to help you with that, with my free PDFs, with my tracker, with my cheat sheets that you're going to get to keep you accountable. And the fourth one is a decision. And I'm going to be very brutally honest with you. The A, the B, and the C mean absolutely nothing if you don't take a decision. A decision to change, a decision to do something, a decision to be proactive, a decision to, as they say, put your money where your mouth is. Because talk is cheap. You need not talk the talk, but you need to walk the walk. And this is the time that's going to test you to your limit. This is the time when winners will emerge, and those who aren't strong enough and those who are just frivolous and wasting their time will fall by the wayside, because the universe favors the brave. The universe favors decision makers. The universe favors people who take action. Because, for example, if Steve Jobs only thought about Apple in his head, we wouldn't have our iPads, our mobile phones, or even, the iPods that came out before all this. If Mother Teresa only thought about compassion and just prayed all day and didn't do anything, we wouldn't have Shishu Bhavans all over. We wouldn't have people who are missionaries. We wouldn't have the Sisters of Mercy help people. Everyone needs to take action. It doesn't matter whether you do charity, whether you're a social worker, whether you're a missionary, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a billionaire, a zillionaire, a millionaire, an ordinary person. Everything happens with action. Okay? So, you need to make a decision to act today. And because I believe in the power of a decision to act, I'm going to be announcing my next course that's coming up, which is priced so nominally that it is going to blow your socks off. So let's dive into that next. So it's a little bit of a story time now. We're on a webinar and I want to entertain you and give you your time's worth. So a lot of you know that I was in show business before this. And if you didn't, well, I'm telling you now, I've done over 2,000 shows in most parts of the world. I was primarily a singer, songwriter, composer. I've also done a lot of ghost writing for people in Bollywood, for ad jingles, and performed also those jingles. I also did a little bit of work in the Bollywood film industry with music directors like Ismail Darbar and Sandeep Chauta. And I've also written a song for an Indo-Pakistani collaboration, but unfortunately because of Kargil that did not happen. And I was at this crux in my life where I was thinking, what do I do now? Things are not really aligning with the universe's plan for me, so what do I do now? I was always interested in energy and the law of attraction, and so while I was in show business actively, I was always studying, certifying myself, doing a lot of research into all these different principles and trying them out on me. That's the key. I took action and I tried them out on me. And then when I had to move back to my hometown of Bangalore, I was born in Bombay, but I made Bangalore, my parents made Bangalore their home. And so when I moved back to Bangalore, because my mom had an issue with her health and she needed me there for her. So when I moved back, at that time I was training with Mr. Bob Proctor. You would have seen him in The Secret. He is one of the leading experts on the law of attraction. And when I told him that, how is anybody going to take me as seriously as a transformational coach, an energy alignment coach, a Kundalini yoga teacher, how are they going to take me seriously? Because people are so used to seeing me in show business, and that's like night and day, right? From show business to, what I do now as a transformation and energy healer. And he actually was very stern with me and he said, what do you believe? Don't pass the buck on to what other people perceive about you or what they believe you can or can't do. What do you believe, Apple? And if you believe that you can do it, then take action. Because if you don't take action now, you will procrastinate forever. And within a month, I packed up my home in Bombay. I was in Bangalore. Within 3 months, I used up my savings to start my own YouTube channel where I've got now over 120 videos. I invested. I sought a business advice from a very sound business person who's one of my mentors. I asked that person to help me with a small loan. I paid back that loan since then, and that's how I got started. It all started with one person watching my videos on YouTube and reaching out to me and saying, Avril, I need your help. That person gave me such a boost and reiterated the belief that I had in myself to such an extent that I'm indebted to that person forever, and I still remember her name and I still remember her face. Obviously, I can't mention her on this video. But I never had anybody to guide me specifically in the early years of my life when I was in my 20s or even till I was 35. I made a lot of mistakes in my life. I know what it is to fall and fall and fall and fall and keep falling backwards. I know what it is to be judged by society being on stage when your own manager is your worst enemy because he constantly or she constantly puts you down because they've got to always keep you at the top of your game, so they say. And so it seems. But at the end of the day, you lose a lot of your soul, you lose a lot of who you are unless you have the gumption to be true to be you. And I stay true to who I am, and that's why I'm here today. And that's why I'm so passionate about helping people. I get so emotional and my voice starts breaking, and I get a bit carried away because I never had this for myself. You see, nobody believed in me that I could actually do this. I had to really dive deep and dig deep. And I had to find who is Avril? What is my mission, my purpose on earth? How can I help people? How can I move forward? How can I make this brand of Kundalini Yoga mine, combining it with energy therapies, combining it with cognitive techniques, combining it with targeted Tibetan and ancient practices from the Upanishads? How can I bring this across to people? I found a way because I believed in myself. And I took action because belief is not enough. And because I had a burning desire to do this. And because I turned that desire into a passion, I'm here with you today. I want to give you the best. So please receive this in the spirit that it's offered. And join me on this journey because I know it's going to take you from being finite to being infinite, because that is who you are. Enough of story time. Now we're going to dive into something that's going to benefit both you and me and going to really make a difference in your life. So here's my side of the story. You know, I've always wanted to reach more people. And so in light of the current situation, I refuse to see this as anything else but an opportunity for all of us to heal. I curated a course in my mind from finite to infinite potential, and it has sat in my computer for a long time. I'm taking action first by getting this course online to you. Now, what is this course, Finite to Infinite Potential? As the name states, we're going to work on every area of your life. It's going to be curated monthly modules of 24 classes each. 6 classes each for the 4 segments of your life which cover the mind, body, spirit connect. These are Kundalini Yoga Kriyas, energy alignment therapy, targeted specific meditations that are going to really up-level your life, and then cognitive solutions that take all the energy therapy and Kundalini Kriyas to a whole different level. And you can actually action this in your life. Because actions speak louder than words and results are what actually matter. So if I'm taking action in my life and shooting day and night to get these modules ready, what's your excuse? Plus, there's going to be a live or a recorded webinar every alternate week. So you get 2 webinars a month. We will also have a private FB group where we can connect as a tribe, as a family, and have each other's backs. because accountability is very important during these times. If you want to bring someone else onto this course, you can give it to them as a gift, or you could advise them to make an investment in themselves. If there are people in your own circle, you already have an accountability partner. Now, since I'm a transformation coach, an energy alignment coach, and the creator of my own trademark of Kundalini Yoga called Kundalini Plus, I am used to dealing with all sorts of people, from business owners to millennials to women to children to teenagers. Now, if you'd like to invite anybody who's not a part of this course for the webinars, that's my gift to them. Please bring them, because I believe in the power of change, and the power of change starts with one person. Just one. And that person can be you. And if you can empower another one and another one and another one, we start a circle of change that goes far out in the universe. I believe that I have the power to radically touch and inspire one person at a time, and hopefully that person will shift into action by my example. I believe in this so strongly, people, so strongly. You have that same power too. It all begins and ends with you, because only action, inspired action, can change your life. And as the great Napoleon Hill, who wrote Think and Grow Rich, as he said, everything begins with a burning desire. So what's your desire? What are you going to do? It's do it now or procrastinate forever. I'm going to leave you with an affirmation that we can all say out aloud, because I believe in the power of affirmations. So bow your head, take a couple of deep breaths into your heart. Breathe deep. This is all part of the work, people, because when we can shift ourselves energetically, we can make a difference in our lives and the lives of others. Everything begins with an energy shift. Even mindset shifts begin with energy shifts. Zone into your heart. Make an affirmation. I am so happy and appreciative, or I am so happy and thankful now that I have decided to shift my life into action, to do what is for my highest benefit and my highest good, on the path of least resistance towards a life of fulfillment and joy and progress. And so it is in full faith. And anything in the way of this, I uncreate, delete, and de-story from all dimensions and reality. Thank you so much for joining me for this webinar. Now, as you know, attached with this webinar are links to trackers for you, weekly, daily trackers, cheat sheets, mentioning all the different strategies and points and how you can do this regularly, and PDFs to inspire you, and journals for you to journal in. All you need to do is just write in the journal. Now, you can choose to go off and do this alone, and I wish you all the best with that. However, if you're ready to take action and ready for guidance and ready to work with people who are going to support you and have your back right here, right now, send me an email on my website, fill in the form there saying online course, write your message with a yes, I'm in. That's all I need. Fill in the tab online course, so I know you want to do the online course from finite to infinite potential, and in the message you're going to say yes, Avril, I'm in. Once you do that, we take you straight into the payment gateways, and then we get the course delivered right into your inbox. So I need your email ID for that. Thank you so much. Share this webinar with people. Spread the good news of the power of change and the power of now. From my heart to yours, Satnam, which means I am truth, because that is the truth of who we are. You are infinite potential. Stay blessed, stay authentic, stay safe, and be true to being you. I love you so much. I genuinely care about your welfare, and I'm your friend on this journey of alignment, healing, and progress. Thank you, and I hope to see you in the course from finite to infinite potential. So now, finally, we're coming to the end of this webinar where I'm going to introduce the course. You see, I've decided to over-deliver to you and to help you to take that first step on the path from finite to infinite potential, which is the name of the course. Now, the first 50 people who sign up on my website with their email ID will receive the first class out of 6 classes in each of the 4 segments for free. Now, what are the 4 segments? Just to reiterate, 1 Kundalini class free, Kundalini yoga class free, 1 targeted meditation for free, 1 energy protocol therapy routine for free, and 1 cognitive strategy for free to put everything together in a real-time, real action plan. Plus, I will record a webinar to answer all of your questions at the end of your first week of implementation. Now, how's that for incentive? Now, the course is priced extremely nominally at just rupees 2,499 for 24 classes for the first month. However, if you take action as soon as it's released, again, the first 25 people are going to get this course only for 2,000 rupees. You get a further 499 off this course, which means you pay only 2,000 for the first 25 people who take action by completing the financials. I promise you, these classes are going to shape each and every area of your life. We're talking about the 6 basic areas of your life, and I promise you, you will not get this kind of a sweet deal for just this small amount of investment, but the value of this is 10 times more than the monetary investment. You see, this is the price of a good meal in an average to good restaurant. And since you can't go out, and since ordering food from outside is still a little bit dicey, hashtag social distancing, hashtag stay at home, that's the norm now. So why not invest in your self-development? Why not feed your personality, your life? Why not feed the 6 areas of your life, which is going to last you a lifetime? Because food, clothes, restaurants, dining, malls, and movies, they are just temporary forms of happiness. They are just temporary events in your life which give you instant gratification for a very small, limited amount of time. But investing in yourself and feeding yourself for your self-growth is the best investment you can make in yourself. New hashtag, hashtag gift yourself the best. So this is totally up to you. Hashtag no excuses, hashtag lame excuses, hashtag do it now, hashtag take inspired action now. Okay, that's exactly what I wanted to say. But you know what I mean. I like to have a little fun, but you know what I mean. I'm serious. My tone may be, jovial, and I may laugh and joke. But my intention for you is to really up-level your life. You know, up-level life in lockdown is something that I so firmly believe in, because I know that we can do this together. And I'm going that extra mile by, doing these videos, doing these webinars, doing the course, recording everything in the comfort of my beautiful and cozy home, and with no camera crew, with no one to help me. And if I can take this action, and believe me, I am, as they say, technically challenged, right? So for me to put these videos together, of course, I have a really nice editor who helps me with the post-production. But to even shoot in natural light, and to, even get my makeup on and to position myself, and, it takes a lot for me. And then to, think about what do I say? But my mission is to help you. My mission is hashtag no excuses. My mission is up-level life in lockdown. Okay? And I'm taking action every single day. So I don't see any reason why you shouldn't, because you're being given this. I'm curating the whole course. I'm doing a lot of the hard work initially. You have to just follow what I say. You have to just implement what I say. You're getting everything in the comfort of your home. So I really would like you to take this seriously and let me know. So we're just going to close and dedicate the merit of this webinar. Dedicate the merit. What have you learned in this webinar? What has shifted within you? What recognitions have you come to? What decision have you made? What excuses are you going to lose? Have you made a decision to be the hero of your own life? Have you made the decision to invest for the next 2 weeks or however long this lockdown, continues for? Have you made that decision to invest in yourself? Because the only time we have is now. So really zero in. Place your hands on your heart. Really zero in and see how you feel, because your answers lie there within, not on the outside but within. So trust yourself. Thank yourself for being present for this webinar. Thank yourself. And we send out this energy to all the 10 directions, like a big ray of sunshine, 360 degrees, blessing everything and everyone in its path. And we collect all that beautiful merit back into our hearts so that we can step up, take responsibility, take inspired action, and be the hero in our lives in order to uplift ourselves and people around us. And may this chain reaction continue through the power of one, the power of change, the power of now, and go out into the cosmic field and multiply zillion times over. And so it is in full faith. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me for this webinar. It's been a long webinar. You will be getting material which can keep you on track. However, if you're interested in following a tried and tested system, which I've done with students from all over the world, 250 students have done a similar course in 2019, and now I'm offering you an upgraded version of this course, From Finite to Infinite Potential, with so many different relevant information, especially with what's going on with the pandemic. So I've tailor-made this curated course for you, and I hope that you will accept it in the spirit in which it is given, to empower you and to help you. Not just from a passive point of view, but actively help you. I'm so blessed that you are with me. I'm so grateful that you're here, and I send you so much love and light. First, be convinced. After this webinar, sit and think, how is this going to help me? Plus, remember, there's no skin off your back initially, because if you sign up, if you're one of the first 50 people to sign up with your email ID, like I said, you're going to get 4 classes for free. Now, normally each of my classes, on an average of what I'm giving you, costs between about $799 to $1,199. Each of these classes costs between that, and you're getting all 4 for free. So you do the math, and then think about it further. I'm giving you 24 classes, a whole month's module, for $2,499, which is still cheaper than if you were to pay for all these classes, only 4 classes individually. Where are you going to get a deal like this? And the deals keep getting better and better if you sign on for longer packages. And believe me, I have enough course to feed you for the rest of the year for starters. This is just going to be starters, okay? I have enough material and enough to feed you with. So don't you worry about, whether this course is just temporary or not. Nothing is temporary. These courses are going to run at least till the end of 2020. And then I'm going to create new and better courses for you, because I am here to serve. I am here to up-level my own life in lockdown. And if I can't be of service to you, then what? Okay? So, I was just practicing my singing voice. Okay, anyway, I'm going to sing a little blessing for us. I just had an idea. I'm going to sing a little blessing for us, okay? So just place your hands at your chest. It's a Kundalini yoga song that we sing. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And the pure Guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide your way on. Satnam. Satnam means I am true. Place your hands to your third eye for peace. Place your hands to your lips for strength. Place your hands to your heart for passion. Be blessed by the divine. I love you so much. I care about you and I'm your friend in alignment and healing. Stay true to being you. Be the hero of your own life and stay safe and blessed.